Hello and welcome to another Raw Sport interview on our YouTube and Spotify as well. So I am your Raw 12:51 a.m. head of sport, Josh Sim, and we've got another interview. Last week we talked to ladies hockey's vice president Lara, and then beforehand we talked to another Warwick alumni who's working at UEFA. So we've had a mix of people on, and it's been cool to kind of talk to different people connected with Warwick about how everything's going on in terms of the world of sport. And we followed that up today with I've got two guests from the Warwick Wolves to talk to today, the university's American football team, to talk about how the society's going, their thoughts on the NFL season, and also some fun stuff, as you may have seen from last week. So a couple of things. Housekeeping things, as always, our social media stuff's in the video description, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. Some things to plug. Obviously, we have on Saturday the Quarren Stream, which is sort of our predominant 2-hour football show. Obviously, internationals week, so there's not a whole lot of club football. We'll do a way too early Premier League award season kind of thing, signing of the season. Best meme of the season so far, kind of stuff like that. And also, we at Raw Sport are looking for a deputy. So we're looking for someone else to join the team, help myself, whether it's on-air preparation, whether it's doing these kind of interviews, whether it's running our social media. It'd be great to have someone else join us. So we're looking for a deputy. Applications are open till next Friday, not this Friday, next Friday. So get them in. And good luck if you go for them. So with that, we'll bring on two of my guests. Now we have done some stuff at Warwick Wolves fairly recently, like a few months ago. We obviously have the Raw Warwick Wolves NFL Fantasy League, and we had a couple of the guys on to kind of go through the draft when it happened. So let's bring on someone who was there with us. We've got Alex James with us.
Hello. Yeah, I'm Alex. I'm a third-year history and politics student, and very, very glad to be back.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. Like we had you last time, and this time we've also got the society's president, Reese. Let me just bring him on. There we go.
I'm Reese. I'm the president of the Warwick Wolves. I'm a third-year physics student.
It's great to have you both on. How's the year gone? I guess, Alex, how's your year been, just in general? I guess.
Well, it was actually it was like a nice change of pace to get back to football, which we got back to in about late September. We managed to have a pre-season training camp, not as we usually do, but it was nice to just do some sort of sporting activity again with all of the guys and see them. So it's not going too badly, I guess.
Yeah, Reese, how's the year been?
Busy, just been busy. A lot to do with regard to trying to keep the Wolves afloat at this point and getting my course done somewhere in between that as well. But I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, of course. I kind of like starting these interviews with like sports societies. The first question I normally have is, how did you guys kind of come across the Warwick Wolves? Was it something, because obviously American football is not widely popular sport at school and all that stuff, so was this something that you guys found out? Was it a sport that you'd followed on your own before uni? Was it something that when you got to the sports fair and saw whatever stand there was that caught your eye? I'm happy to start with Alex. How did you was joining the Warwick Wolves always something that was planned to happen, or did it just kind of happen at uni?
So I have an older brother who's 10 years older than me, and he played for the Cardiff Cobras, which is the Cardiff University team. So I had kind of watched like the NFL and like college football games with him. Also, a big thing for me was the fact that the American football team didn't trial or anything, so it was quite easy to like get into, and it was very good for like beginners as well. So it was something that definitely appealed to me.
Yeah, and Reese, how did you kind of come across the Warwick Wolves?
Well, slightly different. I was out of playing contact sports for a little bit due to an injury, and the time that I got cleared back to come back to contact sports was when I first joined. And I said to myself, I was like, right, I'm going to really throw myself out there and try something completely new. I came across the Warwick Wolves and went to a few taste sessions, really enjoyed it. And like AJ said, they didn't trial, which was nice. It was like a less pressure environment than normal. And I just sort of really liked the sport, fell in love with it. And here I am now. So it's gone well.
Yeah, and you guys have obviously, as someone kind of looking at it, minimizing kind of looking at how the sport's kind of grown in popularity, it has. I mean, you look at the kind of Super Bowl event that the SU kind of did well. Maybe not this year. We'll see how COVID goes, but obviously in the past they've done a lot of stuff about it. Do you feel like the interest in the sport, like, do you feel like it's growing? Do you feel like people kind of get more into it? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I believe it's the fastest growing sport in the UK at the moment. A lot more people seem to know what it is. I mean, BBC have started to report on it on a weekly basis now, when they never used to. Used to leave it to like bigger games and like actual headlines where like record breaking things would happen. But I'm starting to notice more things on the BBC Sport now where they're reporting on it and then keeping the UK in tabs with it as well. And yeah, it's good to see because it's just a really good sport.
Yeah, and I guess, talking. I mean, when you guys have newcomers coming in, and we'll talk a bit about how what you guys have done for freshers in this kind of weird time. But like, does it mean that you're seeing more people who, I guess, I don't want to say ready-made, but like they already know everything that there is to Warwick Wolves, or do you still get that kind of mix of people, newcomers as well, Alex?
We've certainly had like a mixture of people who know the game previously, have like a team that they support. But likewise, we also get people who have never played before, just come along to a taste session and just enjoy playing football, I guess.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the side in a bit, but obviously, I mean, you guys, I'm assuming very kind of keen watchers of the NFL away from the side in your spare time. So what have you made of the season so far? I know, Alex, as a Colts fan, it's been a mixed season so far. The Philip Rivers experience has been ups and downs, but how optimistic are you ahead of the second half of the season?
I mean, I reckon we've got one of the best offensive line in the league. So, I mean, that's always a big bonus. That's what teams really want. It's very valuable to every team to have a good offensive line. So I'm hopeful we can at least get into the playoffs. Beyond that, though, I don't really know if Philip Rivers is the guy, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, and Reese, you're obviously a Chiefs fan, the defending champions. How have you made of them so far? Obviously added Le'Veon Bell recently as well, so added a bit to their arsenal.
Yeah, I can certainly say I've enjoyed the season because of it. I believe since we started the season that we're going to go back to back, and I think the Steelers are the only real team that have got a shot at stopping us from winning the AFC. I think they can do it because the amount of starters they've brought back is basically the same roster that won it last time, so there's no reason that they can't go and do it again, especially with an 8-1 record and Mahomes playing pretty well. Like, I don't see a reason why we can't go back to back. Big ask, but
yeah. We'll see what happens. Is there a player or team so far that have surprised you guys in terms of how good they've been? I mean, I can say first for me that's from what I'd heard, I hadn't heard overwhelmingly positive things about Justin Herbert coming into this, but he's certainly kind of blown away my expectations and really made the Chargers look a better team than they were with Tyrod Taylor as the quarterback. So is there a player or team that's surprised you or blown away your expectations, Reese?
For me, I think I've got to go with the Dolphins here. I didn't think that they were going to do anything in regard to getting near a wild card spot. I believe they're sitting at 4-3 at the moment, and looking in a pretty good position to get into the playoffs, which is something that from last year's NFL, where everyone thought they were just the worst team in the NFL, they've got like the number one scoring defense or something like that as well. So Brian Flores has got in there, turned it around, and then put them on a road to get to the playoffs, which is the first time that's happened for them in a few years now. Certainly nothing I expected coming into the league.
Yeah, and Alex, do you have a similar team or player that's kind of caught your eye?
I completely agree with you bringing up about Justin Herbert. Like the games I've seen him play, he's played really well. But in general, all the rookie QB class are playing pretty well, in my opinion, at the moment. Like you've got Burrow, who's balling out at the Bengals. You've got Tua, who's obviously doing well with the Dolphins when he doesn't necessarily have great players surrounding him. And it's the same with Justin Herbert as well. But I'm a betting man, and at the moment I've got a pretty large ACCA on a couple of teams within their division, and I think the Bills have surprised me. Like I didn't think they would do much, but I've got the Bills winning the division, so I hope they carry on doing what they're doing.
Yeah, they the less said about last weekend, the better, as the Seahawks fan knows.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It's what happens when the Seahawks play a decent team and lose.
No. Oh, don't even. Don't even. The Cardinals one was heartbreaking. That was a heartbreaking loss a few weeks ago. Flipping that question, is there a team or player that's, I wouldn't say disappointed you, but you sort of feel you probably had high expectations for them and they've not done so well? I mean, goodness, I don't know. I mean, the easy one, I guess, for me would be it's very easy to go off last weekend, but the Buccaneers obviously didn't look that very good against the Saints. But that's obviously, that's recency bias. So that's just me going off last weekend. But Reese, what do you think?
Yeah, someone that I thought would do a lot better than this season was Drew Lock. I think he came on really well towards the end of last season, and I feel like he was primed to really prove himself as the Broncos starting quarterback. And I know he's dealt with an injury, but he just hasn't really looked too sharp, other than in the last game or two, where they went on that touchdown scoring drive to beat the Chargers. I feel like he could have done a lot better, and I don't feel like it's worth ruling him out now, but I know there's a few trade rumors around the Broncos possibly acquiring Sam Darnold at the end of the year if the Jets do go and draft Trevor Lawrence, which would be healthy competition. But I would like to see Drew Lock try and prove himself a little bit more.
Yeah, Alex, I'll just throw you the same question, really. Is there anyone that's sort of not been as good as you thought they'd be coming into the season?
The Patriots are looking terrible at the moment, which is really surprising to me because they've probably got arguably the best head coach in football with Bill Belichick. They've got Cam Newton, who's like a seasoned veteran now, I think you could call him. So I am surprised that they're not doing great this year, to be honest.
Yeah, that it's been really weird to see the Patriots sort of struggle this year after all their years of being at the top. So especially, I mean, going off Monday, especially against the Jets, that was a rough game to watch from their perspective as well. Going ahead, I mean, just quickly obviously, the Colts are hoping to get into playoffs. We fully expect the Chiefs to get into the playoffs. Any predictions wise going forward? Is there a team that you think could make a deep run in the playoffs? And then, my final question will be talking about the Super Bowl. So any predictions about any teams that could make a deep run in the playoffs that maybe they haven't in a long time, or maybe, it's an unexpected one? I'll go with Alex on this one.
I personally think Pittsburgh are probably going to win the AFC. They're probably going to play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, and I think they're going to beat the Chiefs, which may come as a surprise to people, but I think Pittsburgh probably look like one of the best teams in the league at the moment.
Well, that's not really music to Reese's ears, but let's see. I mean, do you view the Steelers as your biggest challenger at the moment?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I'm less scared by the Ravens than maybe I should be. I feel like they may do exactly what they've done the last few years and play one game and lose it in the playoffs, because that seems to be a pattern at the moment. They haven't looked quite as dominant as they were last year. A team that I think could go deep in the playoffs. I've got to go the Dolphins again. They've looked really good. Tua's won both the games he started. He's seems to have an affinity with the rest of the receivers on that team as well. Their defense is the best defense in the league statistically right now, and they're only getting better as well. I understand that they're not in a great division where they're playing not far from good opponents. But I feel like if they get to the playoffs, they could win a game or two, really, and do like what the Titans did last year.
Yeah. I mean, the Titans obviously got off to a very hot start as well. But I'm keeping an eye on the Cardinals because I feel like Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, that's a deadly combo, and you've got Christian Kirk as well. You've got, obviously, we'll see what happens with Kenyon Drake, but Chase Edmondson's a pretty good deputy, so they've got pretty fair few offensive weapons at their disposal.
I always said before the season started, I said that if I was a betting man, I'd have put a large bet on Kyler Murray winning the MVP. I just had that feeling.
Would you say? I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, who do you guys think are in that conversation right now? Because obviously, there's been a fair few performances there's been a fair few players who started off well and then have kind of tailed off recently, and the reverse as well. There's been players who had a slow start and now sort of getting into form. So who do you kind of put in that conversation at the moment? Alex, who do you have at the moment in your conversation there?
Yeah, I completely agree with Kyler Murray being in that conversation. I mean, before the Seahawks lost last weekend, I may have put like Russell Wilson in there maybe. But I think a couple of the Packers players as well could be in there. Like Devontae Adams is balling out for me in fantasy. Whether that translates into, I don't know, actual on-field success, that's another thing. And like maybe Aaron Rodgers as well. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, and Reese, similar. I mean, who do you reckon is in that conversation at the moment?
I think there's probably about 3 people in the conversation currently, and I believe that to be Russell Wilson, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes. But I think the dark horses are absolutely Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, and then Dalvin Cook as well. I think Dalvin Cook's having record seasons that a lot of running backs haven't put up in years, and I think he's kind of going under the radar a little bit because of how bad the Vikings are. But if they start putting some wins together, I reckon he could get into that conversation at least, depending on how the rest of the candidates play.
Yeah, I would have, if the Titans had remained unbeaten, I would have had Derrick Henry as well up there, but they've sort of tailed off recently. So, but certainly his performances were really impressive as well. So yeah, I mean, we'll move the conversation back towards Warwick and closer to home and talk about the society a bit. I mean, Alex, you mentioned pre-season. So what has training been like during this kind of strange time that we're in right now? How has it been in terms of how close is it to kind of normality, I guess, for you guys, or what you would have known as normality last year?
I mean, we haven't been training in full pads. We've just been wearing helmets at the moment. We would usually train as a whole team, so offense and defense, but obviously we can't do that with number restrictions with COVID and stuff. So it has been a little bit different, yeah. Wiping down kit at the end of training session is very long as well, but it has to be done with COVID protocols. So yeah, it's been good to get back though. Even a little bit of football is good. So yeah, it's been okay, I guess. Yeah,
Reese, from your perspective, what has training sort of been like at the moment?
I can tell you exactly what it's been like. It's been stressful. Trying to get everything sorted and into a point where it's all COVID safe and meeting all the protocols and stuff like that is it's not easy, but we do it for the love of it. I know a lot of the exec are going to be watching this, so I'd like to say like this is massive well done to the exec for actually getting it to a point where we can train and doing everything that we can there, because a lot of the boys have put a lot of really hard work to get to that point. I've just enjoyed being back, honestly. It's a degree of normality, but I mean, there's no other situation in our lives as the Wolves where we can see like up to 60 people on each half, or 30 on each half of the field at least, and it's as close to being normal as possible. So it's just nice to be out and training again.
Yeah, and Alex sort of mentioned some of the measures you guys have been taking place. Obviously, a deep clean of equipment and all that kind of stuff. So for those who don't know a whole lot about the Warwick Wolves or don't know what kind of protocols are going on, do you want to outline how you guys are keeping training safe and what have you sort of had to adjust during this time?
Yeah, of course. Effectively, what we've had to do is we've had to split the pitch in half and then It'll be 30 people per half of the pitch that then can't come into close contact with one another. No contact is allowed, so we've been turning to playing like flag games instead of actually learning how to tackle, which is a little bit difficult with the rookies coming in because we're trying to teach them like techniques. We're going, oh well, in this point you'd hit someone, or you'd try and move someone that way, or do this or that, but we can't actually practice that yet, which was a little bit difficult in trying to teach technique. But we've been wiping everything down, making sure everyone stays socially distant. Our coaches stay in their own box almost, so they stay well away from us to basically just to try and prevent anything from going on. And it's worked so far, so it must be doing something right.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, I mean, do you guys, because previously obviously there was the rule of 6 and so that was sort of the thing before obviously these new restrictions. So Alex, were you guys training in groups of 6 or small-sided groups? Like, how did that work? Was it kind of more positional based training, I guess, than previously, or was it just was it just like a group of 6 just training as normal?
I believe it was like positional stuff. Like we always split off into positional groups, so it was handled that way definitely, and it was restricted that in that sense. But as far as I was concerned, like we would just have 30 per side on the pitch. But like we would have like strict COVID screening forms. We would temperature test before training and everything. And we also just stated a rule about like no carpooling and stuff like that, just to keep the virus, keep the probability of the virus spreading across the team to a minimum and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. And obviously it's obviously a weird time for freshers as well when they come into uni, and I'm sure you guys have a fair few freshers on your team. So how have you been able to get them involved in, obviously, because there's very little face-to-face contact, or at least outside of practice. So how have you guys tried to kind of create a welcoming and friendly environment for freshers? Or I'll go to Reese for this one.
Oh, I've got to say to start, AJ's done a very good job because he's communications sec, so everything that goes out onto social media goes through him. So the fact that we've got anyone turning up in the first place is a testament to AJ's work. I think a lot of the draw is, like I said earlier, it's like being able to come out and socialize. And although it's a sport and environment, there is obviously like a social element to it as well, of meeting new people and maybe exploring a little bit more about yourself as well. With regard to that, it's almost a draw in itself. Since we don't trial, we try our best to put out like a friendly environment where everyone's always welcome and no one will ever get turned away. If you want to come play for us, we'll happily take you. And that's something that the Wolves has always been built on, and something that I'm very proud to be a part of. So I feel like a lot of people have stayed just because they liked us as opposed to like the sport sometimes. I know that was initially my decision, just because I liked the team as opposed to liking the sport because I knew absolutely nothing about the sport. And I'm kind of hoping that is portrayed in what we've done so far as well.
Yeah, I mean, Alex, seeming as you've done, even you as communication sec, what has it been like to kind of talking to freshers and all that throughout this time, and in terms of just keeping them engaged with the team throughout the first half of this term?
I certainly think it's been a bit more difficult this year because I'd say a large draw of our club is probably the social side of it as well, with like circling on a Wednesday and stuff like that. And obviously we can't do that. So a big draw of the club has kind of been lost. But I am proud in the sense that we have managed to like draw a lot of freshers towards the team. And if it hadn't been for COVID, I think we would have maybe seen record numbers joining the club this year. But yeah. We created a WhatsApp page for the freshers as well, so even when they joined our like Facebook page for team notifications and stuff like that and team announcements, they could talk amongst each other, and I think that was a good way for retention as well. Like people could talk to each other and get to know each other, and they would be more
from a very numbers side of things as well. We've actually managed to stay pretty much dead on to the membership numbers we had last year. And with this year as well, I think we've done a really good job to get to that point. So I really do think it probably would have been pushing over 100 odd members had COVID not happened, but nothing we can do about that.
Yeah, and everyone's in the same boat in terms of recruitment of freshers and stuff. You mentioned socials, and obviously, we don't have many in-person socials in terms of circling and pop and all that kind of stuff. So I guess I'll turn to Alex on this. What have you guys sort of done? Has there been a lot of online socials? Has there been a lot of group watch-alongs? What have socials been like so far?
Well, we had an online social last week. We were playing Among Us, which was actually a collaboration social with North American Society as well. So it's good that we can kind of reach out to other clubs in that sense. And we did that across Zoom, which is pretty fun. And then I believe we've got another social maybe tonight, which is like Zoom yoga or something like that. With the Wolverines, I think, and I think the Devils coming on it as well. So yeah, it's good.
Saturday, fella.
Other societies as well.
It's on Saturday, fella.
Oh, Saturday. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
I lost track of the days, but yeah, quarantine does weird things to your mind.
It gives people who watch this time to get ready for it. I mean,
exactly.
Rather than have it tonight, they've got a few days. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Reese, I mean, again, obviously, face-to-face socials, obviously, like for any society, regardless of sports team or not, it's obviously a crucial part of how societies work. So again, so with the kind of online socials, has that been a difficult thing to adapt to, or has it kind of just been a case of just getting with the times as they are at the moment, and just kind of adapting?
I feel like it's because everyone's limited to that. I feel like it hasn't really affected us too much, purely because there's no other real options to explore other than the online socials. So I think irrespective of who you are and what society you're from, that's the only thing you can really offer. So the social sex for us have put together a number of online events to try and help people get into the club and a little bit more, and the social side as well as the sporting side as well, which is obviously a big drawing point for anyone coming to university. But I'm sure when this all does die down eventually, we'll get back to it, and it'll be doing it all the same as ever. So
yeah, of course. And I obviously your season must have changed a fair bit. Obviously, you can't travel out to to far away universities to play matches. So was the season? How's the fixtures in the season changed? I'll come back to you, Reese, on this one. How's that changed from last year?
Well, in around, I believe it was July or August, we got a statement from our governing body, BAFA, to say that the season itself was going to be cancelled in its usual sense. So we weren't going to be playing our normal league, which is quite frustrating because it was something that was obviously prepared for year on year. By now, we'd have played half of our games as well. But obviously, times change. The current plan is to have moved this season into January and to start it in January. And then obviously this is all COVID dependent on the situation at the time. But then to sort of make it into like almost like a friendly league around universities that are more central to us, as an example, like Leicester, Birmingham, Coventry, around there, the ones that are more accessible to us, less far for us to go, at which point we can then play these people in like a sort of friendly environment and play for almost as like a cup at the end, as opposed to promotional relegation.
I'm on mute. There we go. Yeah, of course. I mean, when I talked to obviously ladies hockey last week, it was a similar thing. There was obviously more fixtures with the universities kind of around them in this Midlands area. So, I mean, talking about the lack. So with the fewer fixtures, then Alex, what has that been? Obviously, you guys miss it. I'm not going to ask you if you miss it or not, because of course you do. But does it take the edge off practice in any way, or does it sort of or does everyone come into practice going, this is one of my few times to play on a weekly basis, I'm going to give everything I got? Is there been a change in intensity of practice as a result, or has it just been the same as usual?
I wouldn't say there's been a change in intensity per se, but I know for like especially me and Reese are in our third year now, which could potentially be our final year at the university. So it is just a bit. It's not great knowing that you may have played your last game for the Wolves already. I guess it's a bit disheartening, but we still turn up to practice and give it our all, like in the hope that like at some point we may actually still get to play a game this year. So we're still preparing. We're still like working hard. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry for reminding you that it's your final year. So has there been a player or an exec member that's really had a really good year in practice or stood out in terms of away from the field that's worth giving a shout out to? Reese, on this one.
I feel like a lot of the guys have really tried to adapt to this situation, because it's a lot of it's really changing consistently on an almost daily basis. As an example, like all of our kit got moved out from the Westwood area where we kept it and where we train, and got shipped all the way over to Cryfield. We had absolutely no idea about it, which now means that we've got to drag all of our kit from Cryfield across to Westwood every training session. I think probably my shout out have to go to my kit secs, is Ollie and Archie, just because they've worked so hard in getting the kit in to training and allowing us to train in any sort of circumstance, keeping us COVID safe and really putting in that work to make sure it goes well.
Yeah, of course. A lot of it must be a fair bit of responsibility in this time, especially. So yeah, of course. I mean, obviously, with your season moved to January, obviously it's very hard to project kind of any predictions or hopes for how the season's going to turn out. But Alex, is there something you're looking forward to ahead of the season? Is there something is there any hopes that you have ahead of it? What are your thoughts ahead of the season then, when you guys do get playing?
I hope we have games full stop, and no matter who we play, I'm just gonna look forward to just playing. But I really hope we get to play Cov at some point, just because they're our local rivals, and they beat us last time they played us, so it'd be nice to get some sort of revenge on them, I guess. So yeah, I think I'm gonna look forward most of all playing Coventry at some point, hopefully.
Yeah, Reese, same question. What are you most looking forward to when the season comes back?
I absolutely echo everything AJ's just said. I'm confident that anyone we play, we could beat them. We're a talented squad. We're quite a deep squad as well. So we've got a lot of people that can play and will play with a high level of quality as well. I just first and foremost just want to play. But then when we do play, obviously I want to win. We're a competitive team. So
fair enough. Yeah, of course. So it must be a bit of a wait, or a long wait, it feels like. But definitely looking forward to seeing what you guys do on the pitch. We're going to end with some fun questions about to get to know the team a bit, get to know you guys a bit. So I'm going to start with a nice one. I feel like the fastest player in the team. Who would you put in that category? I feel like when I asked that, Alex, you had a few ideas off the bat. Who's the fastest player on the team?
I mean, he's on the show right now.
No, he's not.
He may be known. He's known as the quarterback of the Warwick Wolves. It is myself, obviously, the fastest player in the team. You can ask me to prove it, and I'll do it any day of the week. So yeah, I mean, there's no necessary evidence for this, but you can check out my huddle highlights, and you can see that for yourself. Yeah, that's what I'd go for.
Reese, you seem like you disagree. Reese, did you have someone else in mind, or do you
absolutely I do.
Go for it.
It's between Raz to prove it. I can't lie.
I mean, yeah, you guys now have to. I feel like that's something you guys now really have to test it out to get a definitive winner on this.
Yeah.
Certainly, the gauntlet has been laid down now.
Yeah, there we go. is there who's the most sort of organized person on the team? Do you reckon? Like someone like yes, who do you guys who would you put in that category? Is anyone that comes to mind, Reese or Alex? I mean,
I'd probably have to give it to Reese. Like, he is our president. He's kept everything rolling. He's kept everything going on. So, I mean, even in this difficult time of COVID, he's kept everything running smooth for the team. Even us as an exec, we don't have to worry about it too much because Reese has just got it on lock. So I'd have to give it to Reese, definitely.
Yeah, that sounds Reese. I mean, did you have anyone in mind, or you'll take it? You'll take it. Fair enough.
I'll certainly take that one. Yeah.
Of course. Who is the person most likely to arrive late to practices if there is someone that a repeat offender?
Laszlo. Definitely Laszlo. He's a funny guy, and I love him to bits. But I'm yet to see him arrive on time.
Yeah, we have a rookie this year called Laszlo, who is a post-grad student, I believe, who plays O-line from Hungary, and I always just see him running through the gates onto the field. So yeah, I'd probably back that up as well. Yeah.
Fair enough. Do you have a sort of a class clown or someone in the group, someone a joker, a comedian amongst you guys who pulls off the funniest jokes?
AJ, this is all yours, mate.
Yeah, there's definitely a few of them in the team. I'm not going to name any names and out anyone, but there's definitely more jokes to be had, I guess, in this disheartening time. So yeah, we have a good laugh on the field at the moment. But of course, when it comes down to games, it's all serious.
Fair enough. My final one in terms of the team stuff is the person who controls the music before games. Who's the team DJ?
Albert always brings an absolutely massive speaker. Always before game days, it absolutely shakes the walls the size of this speaker. Yeah, he's always got it with him. Always got it with him on game days, and always plays some absolutely huge tunes.
Offense definitely bring the tunes. Defense, they're lacking in the music department. I would have to say, but offense always bring the juice before game day.
Okay, so there's the spark. The spark of the team's more on the offensive front than the defensive front, then, in terms of music.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I've got some questions now about, for you guys individually, I guess. So we'll start with, obviously we're all unable to go to Pop at the moment, but what's your favorite song to hear at Pop? Do you guys, Reese, do you have one?
We went through a phase between all of us of consistently requesting Pop Smoke. Never happened, but we're going to hold our breath in case it does. The amount of times the tweet from the Wolves account going at Disco Dave play Welcome to the Party has gone out is truly astonishing. But it's a movement started by yours truly, Alex James. So
yeah, I was going to say it's communication.
Now that I have control of the Twitter Pop, I'm gonna put drill on the map in Pop. Definitely, it's gonna happen.
Oh man, just in between the ABBA and in between the Take That, and then you have some drill in between. That would
certainly is a change of pace.
Yeah, that would be something.
Yeah.
Going off that theme, do you guys have a favorite drink at T-Bar or any of the campus drinking outlets?
Old classic double spice rum and coke. That's fantastic.
Fair enough. That's your go-to. Alex, do you have one?
An athlete, so tap water. No, in T-Bar, any of the pitches.
Oh wow! I was gonna say that's yeah. My reaction was like, slightly dodgy, but fair enough. I get a fair enough answer on this. So, you mentioned we talked about music. So, I mean, what's your individual kind of favorite music to listen to before games? Is it? I'm getting Alex. Is it drill before game? Is that what you listen
Always
to?
drill.
Absolutely drill. At the moment, I'm really into Dutch Velli, so he would definitely be blasting through my ears before a game.
Fair enough. Reese, what's your music before game?
It doesn't matter because it will instantly be drowned out by the amount of drill that will be played. Nah, to be fair, I do actually really like drill before games as well. So
Wolves' favourite is Love Sosa by Chief Keef.
that is goes off changing rooms.
Who
Absolutely.
knew the Warwick Wolves team were also the drill appreciation society? That's something I've learned today. Do you have a favorite place to eat outside of campus, sort of in Leamington, Coventry, in those areas? Is there a favorite place to go to grab something?
I think I speak for AJ when I say about him how much he loves Wagamama's. He really does go there a lot. To be fair, he absolutely loves it. I do as well. I'll go with him.
Wagamama's or Turtle Bay, absolutely.
I bet you've been using
and happy. So
bet you've been using their takeaway. Have you been ordering takeaway from both on a regular?
Not at the moment with the student loan situation, but we did actually go to Turtle Bay the night before lockdown came in to make use of because me and Reese actually live in the same house, so we as a house we all went to Turtle Bay.
We're lucky enough, so 6 of the 12 exec live in the house that we're both in right now. So
fair enough. So a lot of drill and a lot of trips to Turtle Bay then.
you managed to explain most of our week.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Do you guys have? I mean, we talk about food. Is there a favorite? Is there what's the perfect meal? What's if you had the choice of any food and they asked you what would you like? I mean, is it going to be? Am I going to hear Wagamama's? Is that going to be the answer?
No. So every single day, 2 of my meals, I will eat chicken, broccoli, and brown rice with a can of beans on the side with cheese on top. That's all I eat.
So that's a perfect meal. Reese, you sounded like you'd seen a lot of that order.
Honestly, whenever I see AJ in the kitchen, it's like, "Oh, what are you doing, AJ?" I was like, "I'm boiling rice." I'm like, "Oh, what a surprise!" For me, I absolutely love cooking curries. So, just enjoy eating a curry.
Fair enough. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Ben and Jerry's cookie dough always slaps.
Yeah, that's one of those you can't go wrong with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is a sticky one. I'm probably going to go for something a little bit rogue, something a bit out there. Maybe raspberry ripple.
Interesting. Okay, fair enough. I'm sure there'll be a fair few people who are watching who love raspberry ripples. I don't feel like you. I feel like you're in a safe place here. You're in a safe place here. I got 2 more. So, is there a guilty pleasure movie that you guys have as something you kind of watch every now and then?
I love Twilight.
What? I didn't even know that.
It's a great series. What a trilogy, or is it a saga, whatever you would call it? They're all just phenomenal films.
There we go. I mean, Reese, you're learning some stuff on this.
Oh yeah, you learn something new every day. I love watching like the Harry Potters as well. It's quite mainstream, but yeah, I do just quite like the Harry Potters.
No, I mean, again, one of those you sort of a crowd pleaser. I'd say a crowd pleaser, Harry Potter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Finally, if you had to pick a holiday destination, maybe I don't know if a benefactor came to Warwick Wolves and said, "Look, we'll pay X amount of money to take you guys on a holiday or tour or something," where would you guys go? Where would you pick?
West Ham Stadium, the London Stadium, absolutely. Would love to go there. Up the irons.
Said in a Welsh accent, mate. Really well, really suits. Surely it's a large one to Ibiza. Surely.
Yeah,
Can't go wrong with that.
Surely.
I feel like that one's. I mean, that one's slightly more pricey than a trip to West Ham, I have to say. But
Yeah. Or the Den, Millwall. Either one.
Oh, mate, you can't do one and the other. It doesn't work like that.
That is true.
Stadium tour. On that note, guys, it's been great to have you both. Alex, Reese, thank you so much for joining me. This was a lot of fun. And so, yeah, where can people find, I know we'll put the social medias up, but where can people just find you via these ones, or anything else to plug that's coming up?
You can find us all on there. Facebook, if you're interested in joining the team, search us up on Facebook. You'll find the Warwick Wolves Rookies 2020/21 page. If you're interested in joining, playing for us, being a social member, we're happy to accept everyone. Just go ahead and click that. I'll accept you into the group, and you'll see all of our updates about training, events, meetings, whatnot. So yeah, definitely get on that.
There we go.
Just message us if you want to come along. If you want to come along, we'll have you.
There we go. I feel like there's nothing else that needs to be said. So thank you both for joining me on this Raw Sport interview. We'll be back on Saturday talking about England and our as they take on Ireland and just go through the Premier League season so far. So until then, thank you for watching, and we will catch you in a little bit.
Been a pleasure.